Stitchers, my name is Jeanette and I'm from Bella Rose Needleworks, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is video number 3 for me and I'm super excited to be here. Today is June 26, 2025, and yeah, this is my 3rd video. I'm super excited to be here to share my stitching with you guys again. If you are new to my channel, then welcome, and if you've been here before, then welcome back. And thank you for all of your continued support and encouragement. I cannot tell you how much it means to me to have you guys comment and just give such wonderful, awesome, thoughtful, and kind words. When I first started making these videos, I wasn't sure if this is something I could actually do. And I've been just blown away by all of your support, and I can't thank you enough. You are why I continue to do this. I love sharing my stitching and inspiring you, and I know that you all inspire me. So thank you very much for continuing to watch and support me, and I hope that in the future you will continue to do so. With that being said, in our last video, we were just approaching 500 subscribers, and so we did a giveaway, and we've since surpassed the 500, and I'm just, like I said, I'm blown away, you guys. I can't even describe how grateful I am for all of you. But we did a giveaway. In the last video, I talked about a project that I had been working on, and it was Stitching Quaker by Primrose Cottage, and I showed that in my video. I did a color conversion with the number 5 pearl cotton on a 18 count floba, so I changed up the design just a little bit with how I stitched it, and I had it finished in the last video, and I've since FFO'd it, so I'll show that towards the end of the video when I show my FFOs, and I'm super excited to show that. But anyway, I got distracted. This was part of our giveaway, was a Stitching Quaker chart along with a pearl cotton floss pack and a piece of the 18 count floba that you'll need if you would like to stitch up the design the way that I did. And so we did that as our giveaway because we thought that would be really fun. We had a lot of really fun comments about the number 5 pearl cotton. So we had a tag word for the giveaway, and I got a real kick out of reading all of the comments, and you guys are hilarious. Your creativity in using the words pearl cotton. And so anyway, I got a kick out of reading all of those. I did not comment on every single one of them, but I did read every one, and I really enjoyed all of the things that you guys said, and it was really fun to read all of those. Just so you know, if you go back and watch the last video, I have turned off the comments. And the only reason why I did that was because I didn't want new watchers of that video to try and enter the giveaway that was already over. And so I just temporarily turned off the commenting on that video. So there's nothing wrong with it. I just thought it wouldn't be fair for people to now go back and try and enter a giveaway that's already over. So anyway, if you see the comments have been turned off temporarily, that is the reason why. But feel free, if you have a question or a comment, to comment in this video, and I'll be sure to read them and answer. So anyway, that being said, I wanted to congratulate our winner. So let's see, Suzanne Means 9991. You are the winner of our giveaway. Thank you so much for entering. I'm super excited to send one of these kits along to you. If you send me a message in Instagram and just let me know that you were our winner, and leave me your mailing address, then I will get your kit mailed off to you. And again, I will go back in the video later and I will show you the finish and kind of what all the hoopla is about, because if you're just now watching, you probably have no idea what we're talking about. So I'm sorry if I'm confusing any of you, but I promise it'll make sense later. So that being said, let's see, what have I been working on? So I've been trying really hard to stick with my an hour a day stitch, and I'm about 50% consistent with that. it's been really busy the last couple of weeks. We went camping, we're gone for 5 days. It was Father's Day. I got sick, I'm better. So there's just been a lot of things going on. I'm prepping for an event that I'm doing this weekend, and so I've been a little disorganized, I guess. Of course, why is it different from any other day? Anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to remain consistent. Sometimes my hour a day doesn't come until later in the afternoon. I've been trying to do it in the morning. Doesn't always work. I found that sometimes, you know, when my husband gets up and he's getting ready for work, and my older daughter's getting ready for work, and I'm making lunches and doing that kind of stuff, I kind of get derailed in my morning. And so I think I need to be a little bit more intentional about getting back to my hour a day stitching. So anyway, I've done okay. I did quite a bit of stitching while I was camping, but I focused more on just a handful of projects as opposed to working sporadically on a handful of different things. And so at the end of the video, I have a few finishes, actually a few FFOs that I'll show, and one of them is one that I did while we were camping. And so yeah, let's see. So what have I been working on? I have been really focused a lot on 4th of July and patriotic stitches, and I'm not really sure why it's suddenly become a thing for me. I know that we've got, if you're here in the United States, we've got the 250th birthday of the US coming up next year, and so it's been kind of a focal point for a lot of US stitchers. Obviously, if you don't live here, it won't apply to you as much, and I completely understand that. But it's been definitely something that I've been more wanting to stitch recently than in previous years, I guess. In fact, later on in the video, I'm going to talk about some of my plans, and one of them's a sal that I'm going to start in on, and so I'm going to add in some of these designs as I go along. So anyway, while I was camping, I worked quite a bit on this one. So this is Liberty by With Thy Needle and Thread, and I have really enjoyed working on this piece. And so, pardon the wrinkles, but here is my progress. Oops, come back here. There we go. Here's my progress. I worked on the flags, and I think I got this octagon here in the middle there done while I was camping too. The weather was beautiful while we were there, and I spent a lot of time outside, which I don't normally get to do. And so it was just so nice to sit in the trees, and there were a lot of deer, lots of squirrels and birds, and it was so peaceful and relaxing. And to be honest, we didn't want to come home. But I just, what reminded me of that is that there were a couple of days that we were sitting out there, and my husband would usually build a fire. And so the fabric actually smells just a little bit like campfire, which I actually really like. And so I'll have to air it out eventually. It's not like ruined or anything, but it does have a little bit of that campfire smell, which I actually really, it has a lot of memories there, I guess. So anyway, but yeah, I've been really enjoying this piece, and this will be part of my continued rotation, because I'd really like to get it done. Well, it won't be done by the 4th. Obviously, that's next week. So hopefully, maybe, let's see, by the middle of July. And it'll certainly be done before next year. So maybe that's a better goal for me, is to have it done by next year. Okay, so the next one that I worked on while we were on our camping trip was this sweet buttons and beads kit by Mill Hill, and very appropriately is called Camping Out. And so not a lot to show. In fact, when I pulled it out while we were on our trip, I thought I had gotten a lot more done the last time than I did, and I really only had just the border done. but I added in this bottom part here and a little bit of this border and started some of the water. But I love the buttons and beads kits. They're great. They come with everything that you need, and you get the beads and the floss and the, oops, not the chart, but the beads and the floss are in here, and it comes on, this one's done on like a navy blue perforated paper. And so if you haven't done the buttons and beads before, they're awesome. They're nice, and it's a nice change from linen and Aida and typical fabric, and because the paper's really nice and the holes are all even. And so the buttons and beads kits, any of those Mill Hill kits are awesome. I really enjoyed it. But like I said, the last time I started this on the last camping trip we went on, and I really thought that I had gotten more done, and I pulled it out. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's all right. So my goal is to get it finished within the next time or two that we go camping, and hang it in my trailer when it's all finished. So hopefully I can get that one done. But that one I've really enjoyed too. So that was part of my hour-a-day stitch while I was camping, and I've got one more that I was working on. And this one I started as part of my kind of working on like a faith in stitches and being a little bit more intentional in the stuff that I'm stitching. And I had found this book, and I think I talked about it in the last video. It's a Heartstring Samplery book, and it's called Sunday Stitches, and it's a collection of hymns. And she had originally released all of these as individual designs, and then she put it all into this awesome book. And so I want to say there's 14 hymns in here. And so I thought I would stitch my way through this book, starting with the first one, which is Amazing Grace. And so this is where I started. And I'm stitching this one on a 32 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. And I'm using all the called for flosses, and there's only 3. They're all Weeks Dye Works flosses. Nope, I take it back. They're not all Weeks Dye Works flosses. There's one classic in here. So Campfire by Classic Colorworks, and then 2 Weeks Dye Works colors. So Gunmetal and Load-In. So there's only 3 colors in here, which is great. There, this is the palette here, which is really nice. There's not a lot of color change in here. And so it stitches pretty quick. I'm gonna lay it on this board so you can see it a little bit better. So I got the first part of the words done and the top part of the border started. And so I was working on that while we were on our trip. And this is like my, when I do my hour-a-day stitch on Sundays, I try to work on something faith-based. And so this is my Faith in Stitches contribution for June. And I figured I'll just kind of chip away at those designs and do one at a time. And this was a really good, nice place to start. So I've really been enjoying stitching on this pattern particularly because, like I said, there's only 3 colors, and so there's not a lot of color changing going on in there. So anyway, it'll look like this when it's done. Amazing Grace. So okay, so there's that one. And then let's see, I have a new start and then a couple other projects that I've been working on that go along with something else that I'm doing. And so I'll show those. I'm kind of out of order today, but I guess that's okay. So the next one that I started is from this great book by Teresa Kogut, Hello Spring. It's hard for the glare. And I'm doing Cherry Jubilee. And so I just started this the other day, and it's stitched on 32 count earthen, also by Picture This Plus. Let's see if I can get this laid out here. There we go. So I started with that sweet little bird and a little heart, and I added in that cherry. And it's kind of hard to see the white with the way the lighting is right now, but there's this, he's sitting on this big flower right here. And so I thought he was so sweet, and I just loved the colors. I'll show you the design again here. Cherry Jubilee. So yeah, I started up here with this little guy. There's this, I love this bird down here. She's super pretty. So yeah, that was one of my new starts, probably one of my, I have 3 new starts, I guess. So I started the Cherry Jubilee one, and then I have a couple Patriotic ones that go along with some plans that I have. And so I'll show you those as well. I had a really, really nice shout out from Chris of the Camping Stitcher. And she just gave me the nicest shout out. And so, of course, I had to go and watch her video. And they are, well, she is doing a stitch along with, sorry, I'm reading my notes here, the 2 Nancys. So Nancy, the disorderly stitcher, and Nancy, the stitcher with the laughing face. So they both have started a stitch along called, let's see, they called it the 13 for the 250th Sal. So they have this awesome, and I'll show you a little bit more of it later too, but they're doing this great stitch along where you do 13 patriotic stitches over the next 13 months leading up to the 4th of July 2026 for the 250th. And I just thought that was the best idea. And so I jumped right into that and added in a couple of the patriotic stitches that I had already started. So I cheated a little bit, I guess, because I'm gonna add those stitches into this stitch along that I'm gonna join up with, because I just thought it would be a great way to follow other people that are doing patriotic stitches. And again, if you don't live here in the US, I understand that that's probably not your favorite theme to stitch, understandably so, but there's so many beautiful, fun stitches for the 4th and that are patriotic, and I couldn't resist. So okay, so I have 2 more new starts that I started working on the last couple of weeks. And I think I had said before that I've been kind of motivated to do a lot of patriotic stitching. And this also leads into a stitch along that I'll talk about a little bit later that I'm gonna join in on because it just sounded so much fun. But I've been working on several other cross stitches that are patriotic themed, and hoping to have, obviously the 4th is creeping up on us. It's already coming next week, and I'm not nearly as far along as I had expected to be at this point, but that's okay. I'm enjoying working on them, and you know, I'll just keep plugging away and adding them to my patriotic collection as time goes by. But the first one is, I'm sure you guys have all seen it. This is Thread White and Blue by Hands On Design, and it actually comes with 2 separate designs. So one of them is for this cute little needle book, and then the other one is for a like a pin cushion, this little cube pin cushion here. So I started up here with the needle book, and it's stitched on perforated paper, which like I said before, I really enjoy. And I'm laughing at my stitching here because I think I had intended to get a little bit more finished, and I didn't, so my stitching says who. I thought I had gotten the hooray done. But anyway, so I started with the book, and I got the first front part stitched out, and then I did the top part here, and I'm working on the word hooray. And then down here at the bottom, she's got a couple other, there's another piece that you stitch, and it goes on top here and attaches with a magnet underneath so that you can set your needles on there. And so I started stitching that little part down here, and then these little guys down here are going to be thimbles, because I'm hoping to make them into pins, stick pins that I'll use to stick into the little pin cushion when I get finished. So I started, that's what these little silly guys down here are for. So I just started those, but I got those parts done there. And so here, I'll show this to you again. Yeah, and so I got this part done, and that other little random piece is part of this down here. So, and then of course it says who, because, you know, I didn't finish. So there's that one. I'm doing it in 2 stages. I figured I'd get the little needle book finished as one project, and then I'll go back and I'll do the pin cushion next. But they're just darling. She has another set, And for the life of me, I don't remember what the other one is called. I'll have to look it up. But it's got another needle book and another pin cushion, and I'll leave a little note down here that says what that other pattern is called, because I'm blanking on what it was. I should have looked it up. But anyway, so this is just on the called for perforated paper. And the other piece is just a raw, natural linen. So that'll be this for the little pin cushion part that I'll do when I get the other one done. And it's all, I'm using all the called for threads. I didn't change any colors. I thought about it, and then I said, no, Jeanette, just stitch it how it's supposed to be. I'm like, okay, fine. So I did. So the other one that I'm working on is another hands-on design, and it's this one here. That's a wrap. And again, I'm stitching it on the called for fabric, which is a 32 count raw natural linen. And I am really, these are a lot of fun, you guys. Okay, so here's this. And so I got this one almost completely finished. So you're stitching it twice. If you haven't done one of these before, when you're making these cute little pillows, little stacks here, you're going to use 2 ribbons. And so basically you're taking the one design and you're stitching it 2 times. And so that's why it's doubled up here, because you need 2 separate ribbons to wrap around the little pillows. And so that's why I doubled up there. And then what I've also been working on is, hold on a second here, making the little pillows. And so I managed to find some of the fabric that she used in her design. And so I've been making up the little pillows so that hopefully when my ribbons are done, I'll have these cute little pillow stacks. And so those have been really fun to put together. I think I may have overfilled them. They're looking, they're looking a little poofier than I had intended. And so we'll have to see as I'm going. I may have to cut them open and take out some of the stuffing. Otherwise, I'm going to have to squish them down quite a bit so that those ribbons actually fit. So basically what you'll do is you'll take the 2 ribbons and you wrap them around, and they'll connect down at the bottom, and then you add the little button on the top, and they'll make these darling little pillow stacks. And she's got a Christmas one also, and she partnered up with Summer House Stitchworks. And so she has a set also. So she's got her, in fact, I think I have it here. I do. Hold on a second here. There we go. So this is the one that Summer House Stitchworks did. And so her designs are a little bit different, but they finish exactly the same. And so one of them says 1776, and then these 2 were just cute little designs. And so I haven't started those yet, but those are next on my list. And then I'll have these cute little Patriotic pillow stacks that will go with all of my Patriotic decor that you can see is so pleasantly displayed here. Yeah, it's not there. It's on my honey-do list, and clearly I haven't done it. And it's funny because I film in my room, my bedroom, and it's got this really awesome wall. And so I knew when I started my videos that I wanted to have this awesome display to have all of my stitching sitting up here all nicely and beautifully shown for everyone to see. And I told myself, I said, we're gonna get it all put up and decorated before I start my videos. And of course that didn't happen. And so now we're on video 3, and of course it still isn't here. So maybe by the next video, I'll have my shelves up so that I'm not just looking at this giant blank wall that's, oh well. Anyway, at least the lighting is good, but I digress. So yeah, so that's a wrap, and these are really fun. They stitch really quick. These are all done in DMC, and again, I didn't change any of the colors. I just used the called for colors. And Hands-On Design and Summer House Stitchworks both have a Christmas set as well. And hopefully once I get these done, I'll get to working on those ones next. So, okay, so that's it for my current stitches. I can share my FFOs. So I have 3 to share with you. I'm excited about those. One of them is a previous FFO and 2 of them are new. So give me just a second. I'm gonna go grab those. I'll be right back again. Okay, so the first one is one that I had done last year. And since I'm putting out all of my Patriotic decor for July, I thought I would share that one with you. And this is Patriotic Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. And initially when I finished this, and it's stitched on a piece that I had in my stash, it's a 32 count. I don't remember the color. I don't think it even had a label on it. I was just pulling from my stash when I was stitching it. I needed a piece that was long enough, but it has these cute little, there's a couple of buttons in the middle of the pinwheels, and it was such a darling stitch. I had so much fun putting it together. And initially when I was working on this, I mounted it with the intention of reusing this frame. It's just a Hobby Lobby frame, and it came just as is. And I stitched a little bit of fabric around the perimeter of the actual stitched piece so that it would set inside this little frame. And then I trimmed it with some ribbon and added some flowers on top just to make it look finished. But I think I had initially, it's Velcroed in here. I don't actually have it permanently attached. I think I had intended when I was initially putting it together of popping this out and then putting something else in. But then once I attached the flowers, I'm like, I'm not going to take it apart again. So I'm just leaving it in here, but it is just kind of attached in there with a little bit of Velcro. But it was a really simple finish, and the frame was already done. I just stuck it in there with a little bit of foam cord so that it would stand out a little bit. And yeah, so now I have this cute little patriotic finish, Patriotic Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. Okay, so there's that one. The next one is one that I started and finished stitching in like 2 days. It was such a wonderful fast stitch. I absolutely loved it. I actually started it on our trip up to the mountains when we went camping a couple weeks ago, and I started it in the car, and I think I finished it in like a day and a half. But this is American U by Primrose Cottage, and this was another one of my my 18 count Floba and number 5 pearl cotton experiments. I knew that I wanted this to be a big pillow, and so I raided my pearl cotton stash and made a couple trips to Michael's because I think this was another one of those situations where the called for colors, she gives a, back up. So the original design is stitched in color and cotton, and not all color and cotton, well, she gives a DMC conversion in her chart for the colors that are called for, and not all the DMC colors come in the number 5 pearl cotton. And so I did a little bit of playing around with the colors and came up with the ones that I liked, and put this cute little guy together. And like I said before, it was such a wonderful fast stitch. There's only 5 colors. I think it took me like, I don't know, a couple of evenings to stitch it, and it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. And then I just trimmed it with a couple of fabrics, and I added the bow, and then I just lined the back with some stars, and then I have this adorable little pillow, and I think it turned out pretty cute. I actually really like it. So this one will sit out with my Patriotic stuff. Actually, it is already sitting out, and this was really a lot of fun. So I think I'm gonna put together a couple of kits if you guys are interested in stitching up one similar to this. I have my color conversion, and I'll put some floss kits together for you guys if you're interested, and have those in the shop within the next few days if you want to stitch one up for yourself. But it's just so cute. I love it. Okay. So the last FFO that I have is the one I was working on last time, and that was the Stitching Quaker by Primrose Cottage. And here it is. Ta-da! It is so fun, you guys. It is so fun. I had a blast not only stitching it, but turning it into this finish. And every now and again, I have a finish that comes together just like I hope it would. So often I have a vision in my head of how I want something to finish up, and it just doesn't come together. Well, this one actually worked out pretty darn good. I wanted it to have this little cording around the perimeter, and then I just lined it with some fabric in the back, and it turned out so good that I've got like 5 others that I want to stitch just like this. It's darling by itself when it's stitched small, but I just thought it was such a fun finish as this pillow, and I just love it. And so this is stitched on the 18 count Floba again with a color conversion that I did from the called for color and cotton flosses to the DMC number 5 pearl cotton. And so this was part of our giveaway that we did. And also, if you guys are interested, I do have a few kits left in our shop if you're interested in stitching this up yourself. I put together some extras. I had quite a number of people asking, and so I'm like, well, sure, I'll put some together if people want to stitch it themselves. But this was such a blast. I absolutely loved it. I've got a couple more that I've already kitted up, and I'm hoping to start those really soon. The cording around the edge here was an experiment. I hadn't done it before. And so I watched a video that showed how you can take that cotton cording and you wrap it in fabric, and then you sew along the edge of the fabric to make your own cording, and then you sew that on the inside of the pillow before you right side it out, and then it comes out on the edge here. So it's not 100% perfect. I have a couple of things that I need to tweak for the next time, but I definitely think that I will do it again. And it was so much fun. I loved this project. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so that's all my FFOs. I do have some plans. I have a couple of Stitchalongs that I'm gonna try and tackle in the coming months, and so I'm excited about those too. And so I also wanted to do a couple of shout outs, and so I'll do that here. Sorry, I'm reading my notes here. Chris the Camping Stitcher gave me a wonderful shout out in her last video, and I just wanted to say thank you to her for just the sweet words that she said and for all her compliments. And when I was watching her video, she was talking about a stitch-along that she is doing, joining up with the 2 Nancys. So Nancy the Disorderly Stitcher and Nancy the Stitcher with the Laughing Face have started a new stitch-along, and it's called 13 for the 250th Sal. And I thought it was such an awesome way to stitch through the next 13 months leading up to July of 2026 that I thought it was perfect. And so I know there's quite a number of 250th stitch-alongs that are going on. There's quite a few of them out there, but this one kind of caught my eye and I thought it was fun. And since I'd already kind of started my patriotic stitching, I thought I would sneak those projects in there, and hopefully that counts. Anyway, so their little plan looks like this. And so if you go to their Flosstube, Nancy the Disorderly Stitcher, I believe that she has a link to this little printout. And so it's just this American flag with all of these lines. And so there's 13 lines representing the 13 months between now and July of 2026. And I guess the idea is that each month you have a new patriotic stitch that you'd add to your flag. And so I started with the American U because I'd already stitched it. Now her stitch along, where did it go? I don't know what I did with it. Oh, well, anyway, her stitch along, or their stitch along started on the 4th of June. And I was camping that weekend and I had stitched up my Patriotic U, and so I cheated a little bit and I added that as my first one. And then I'm working on my thread white and blue, and then as I go along I'll add in the other projects that I am hoping to add to the list here. And so I pulled out a few of the projects that I had in my stash that I thought would be great to add into the pile. And so thought I would just share. Some of them are kitted, most of them are not. They're just Patriotic stitches that I had on hand, and trying to keep them small and manageable. I have a couple of really nice big samplers that would be great, but there's no way I can finish one of those in a month. And so I figured staying small with my projects made sense, because then I could kind of stitch my way through. But here I'll just share a few of the ones that I have in my stash. And so there's Patriotic Quaker by Primrose Cottage. And because of course I'm on a number 5 pearl cotton kick, I will probably do this one big like my other one, because I just thought it would be so cute as a big pillow. And so I've got that one. And this is a new one by Heart and Hand Doodles, and it's red, white, and blue. This one's adorable. And let's see here. This is Patriotic Poppies by With Thy Needle and Thread. And these are just in my stash. I just pulled out a few Patriotic ones that I thought, hey, I could throw these in and kit them up really quick. And ha ha ha. My Home Sweet Home. This is another With Thy Needle and Thread. So I thought that one was cute. Souvenirs. Apparently I have a lot of Brenda Gervais. Go figure. This one is Star Spangled Spectacular. And then I have, this is Sweet Land of Liberty. This was a Blackbird Designs book, but there's a couple of really nice, manageable, small ones in here that could probably be done in a month without too much complication. Like I said, this one I love, but I think it's probably too big to finish in a manageable amount of time. Here's another one. Let's see, this is Souvenirs of Summer by Blackbird Designs. So that one was good. I thought this bird was great. Okay, and then here's another Brenda Gervais, Seasons of the Heart, but here's this one down here. This summer one is awesome. I love that. So there's that one. And so I found this one in my stash too. This is an old Prairie Schooler. This is Prairie Schooler Santa 2002. Wow. But he had a flag. And so I thought, well, gosh, I could do this one in December, and then it still fulfills my requirement and be Christmas at the same time. I think that works. All right, so there's that one. And then I have a couple that I've already had kitted, which will probably be the ones that I start next, because I already have floss for them. And so the first one is American Petites by Little House Needleworks, and there's 4 in here. And so you probably easily split this up into 4 different months if you really wanted to. So there's that one. And then this is a Plum Street Samplers Grace on Thee. Now this one's a lot bigger, so this one may be one that I just start and work on. I don't know if it'll be done in a month. I think that's quite ambitious, but I had it in my stash and I already had floss for it, so I'm like, oh, maybe I can start that one too. And then Hello Summer. This is another Plum Street Samplers one. And this one I found buried. I don't know where it fell to, but I was pulling out some of my other charts. But this is Lady Liberty by Blackbird Designs. So anyway, just some fun ideas that I thought I could add along for that 13th, for the 250th Sal. I was excited about it. I've been looking for something kind of fun to motivate me to get some of these Patriotic stitches done, and I thought that was the perfect way to kind of add those in. And like I said, I cheated a little bit, and I have a couple of projects that I've already started, so I'm kind of adding those in, and then I'll just kind of chip away and see how far I get. Hopefully, the goal is that by next year you'll have 13 new Patriotic finishes to display for your 250th. So anyway, I'm excited about that one. Oh, I also have this one here. This is Stars and Stripes. So this was a collaboration between the Kitten Stitcher and Kitten Stitcher, Shakespeare's Peddler, and Plum Street Samplers. And so they did this, I believe, last year. You can get both the chart. It came originally as a pair, as a set, but you can get both charts separately now. So Stars and Stripes. that one, this is a pipe dream right here. To have this done. This will not be done by next year, but I love this. I love it. So, okay, so there's that one. The other one that, the other stitch along that I'm hoping to jump in on, I have an order coming and it was supposed to come today and it's late, and so I'll just have to wait and talk about it a little bit more in the next video. But Christy and Anna, so Christy of Java Girl Stitches and her friend Anna, Anna wrote 61 is her tag there. But they are doing the Sweet Taste of Summer sale. And so the theme that they have for that is stitching anything summery that's fruits and summer fruits and anything like, I'm guessing like lemonade and watermelon and anything fun and summery for their stitch along. So I have plans for that, but unfortunately it didn't come in time for me to actually show. So I'll have to wait and show that next time. But I did want to give them a shout out and tell them how excited I am about that video, or that stitch along. I just think it's perfect to add in with everything else that I'm doing. I was really excited about that one. So, so I've got that, and let's see, what else are we doing? I've done my FFOs, I've done my plans. So I had a comment in my last video, and one of the gals was asking about the bows that I add to my stitching. And she said, how do I make my bows? So like I have this one here that I added to my little pillow, and she was asking how I do my bows. So I found on Chantels 141, she has this awesome bow tool set. And if you haven't seen this or used it, it will change your life. It is fantastic. So it comes with 2 of these tools. So it's actually the same tool, it just gives you different size options for your bows. And essentially what you'll do, depending upon if you want a teeny tiny bow or if you want a great big bow, it shows you in the instructions how to wrap it around and tie this perfect bow. And so you can do them tiny. So like I just did a couple of samples. So like here's a little tiny one here. And depending upon how many times you wrap it around will determine how many little loops you get there on the sides. And so you can do this one. Here's this one here that I did. That's just a single with some wired ribbon. You can use any kind of ribbon. Whatever you have on hand, you can use tiny skinny ribbon. You can use fat wide ribbon. This one's wire. And so, you know, it stays in place. But it is the best tool. And once, it took me a couple of tries to kind of get the hang of it. It's actually really simple. I was just being silly when I was trying to figure it out. But the set comes with 2 sizes. Well, actually, I take it back, 4 sizes, depending upon what size you want your bows to be and how wide you want them. And it is the best tool. And so if you're looking at a great, easy way to make really nice, cute, simple little bows, this is the tool for you. And I highly recommend it. Once I got the hang of it, I could use pretty much anything. And so I just make the little bows, and then this one I just sewed on with a little button to cover up that knot, but you could leave it just like this. So you could do anything with them. So yeah, if you're looking for a great, easy way to make bows, Chantels 141 bow tool set is awesome. You guys will love it. I use it a ton. I make a lot of bows, and I highly recommend it. It's great. So, okay, so there's that one. Wow, you guys, I'm so out of it today. I've had to start and stop this video like 8 times. I don't know what's going on. Kids came home, cats want to get in the room. There's a guy out making all kinds of racket outside. And anyway, so if I seem discombobulated, that's probably why. I just can't seem to get rolling today. So anyway, one of the things that I like to talk about in my videos, and I usually wait till the end so I don't bore you to tears with my public service announcement here, but I like to share a few of my favorite things that are in the shop. As you know, I'm Bella Rose Needleworks, and we have an online cross-stitch shop. We're fairly new. I've only been online since February of this year, so we're really new to the whole cross-stitch scene, but we love sharing all of the stitchy goodness with you, and it would be a very long video indeed if I shared every single thing that I have in the shop that's available right now. So I thought each time maybe I'll talk about just a handful of things that I'm really enjoying this week in the video, and hopefully inspire you guys for some stitching things. The other thing that I wanted to add in as well is we're starting a couple of new programs on the website, and one of them is a referral program that will hopefully allow you guys to earn rewards by referring friends and shopping on the website too. And so we're going to implement that hopefully within the next week or so, when you guys can start taking advantage of some discounts and that kind of thing. And thank you guys so much for shopping with us. So we thought the least we could do is reward you with some incentives to shop with our store. So we got that going on. The other thing that I want to do too is every video I want to give the viewers, those of you that are watching and have tolerated me up until this point, I want to give you guys a coupon code. So I won't tell you when I'm going to give it. I'm just going to give it at some point during each of the videos, and you can use that coupon code to shop on the website. It'll be different every time, and the coupon code is only good until the next video. And so once you get it, you'll have to use it up, otherwise it'll be gone. So the one that I'm going to give you guys this week, and I'm not going to write it up on the screen or anything, I'm just going to tell you what it is, because I don't want it to be all flashing on the screen, but it's case sensitive when you put it into the program. And so make sure you put it in the way that I tell you, otherwise it may or may not work. I'm still learning the whole website thing. It's definitely not my gift to be a web designer. And so I kind of learn as I go with this whole thing. So if you have any issues with the code, please let me know, but it should work. Anyway, but like I said, it's case sensitive. And so be sure when you put it in with your purchase that you type it in that way. So the code for this time is thank you June 20. And so I'll spell it out for you. And like I said, it's case sensitive, so make sure that you put it in all caps. So it's THANKYOU_JUNE 20. And that's the code. So thank you June 20 is the code for this video. And like I said, it'll only be live until the next video, and then we'll have a different code for you guys to use. So each time that you watch, there'll be another incentive for you guys to shop. But yeah, thank you June 20, and it's all caps. And so, like I said, if you have any trouble, let me know, but hopefully that one will work. But I thought it'd be a fun thing for you guys to look forward to use if you shop with us at all. The least we can do is thank you for supporting us, and I couldn't do this without you. So I will share a few of my favorite things that maybe you can come and use your code to buy. We have a handful of new designs that just came in from Heart and Hand. I'm sure you guys have seen them, but I wanted to share them again anyway. And this one you've seen before. This is Doodles Red, White, and Blue by Heart and Hand. And she also has this one here, and it's called Sunny Day. This one is adorable, and it includes 2 little wooden buttons. So each chart comes with it in here in the design are these darling wooden buttons, and so each chart comes with those two little wooden buttons. So what a cute summer stitch. I absolutely love that. And then she had a lot of requests for another frill that went with her Nativity Tiny Town. And so this is Shepherd Frill. And so we've got that one also. Look at these little sheep. Love those sheepies. Okay, so there's that one. The other one that we wanted to share is that I've had quite a few people asking about supplies for the Thread White and Blue by Hands On Design. So because it has the perforated paper and the linen, we thought we would put some kits together for you guys. And so it comes with one sheet of the 18 count perforated paper and a piece of linen and all the floss and everything that you need to stitch this little guy up. Sorry, I'm angling it because of the glare. So yeah, the piece here of linen, this is 32 count natural raw linen, and it's big enough to do the whole pin cushion here. And then the perforated paper is big enough to do both pages of your little needle book and then all the floss. And so we'll have those available for you guys. And then the other one we had too is we put together some floss packs for the new That's a Wrap pair from Hands On Design and Summer House Stitch Works. And so we have floss packs as well as fabric available for you guys to use if you wanted to stitch those up too. So there's so many fun new designs, you guys, you have no idea. It's so hard when we're placing orders to decide what to buy because there's so much good stuff and you can only have so much of the things. And so it's hard to pick and choose and know what people want to stitch. But we're really excited about that stuff. So each time we'll try and share a few of our favorite things, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you stuck with me this far, thank you so much for watching, for enduring, for putting up with me, and for supporting me. I'm so grateful for your encouragement and for hanging out. And until next time, do lots of stitching. Can't wait to see what you guys are working on, and I'm looking forward to sharing all of my stitching with you. See you next time. Bye.